Recently, I reviewed the Addiesdive AD2529 and it turned out to be a decent little affordable chronograph. But it was done in a style that, while pretty, never really fit my look. But now they're back with something a bit funkier, a bit bolder and packed with tons of modern retro vibe goodness, the AD2529. So how does it fare? Let's find out. Oh, and I got this watch sent to me for free, but as always, it'll be packed up and added to my membership giveaway pile. So if you fancy a chance of grabbing this and every other watch I give away, then please consider joining my membership by hitting the join button below the video. And whilst you're there, a like and subscribe would be amazing. Anyway, let's get on with the review. First impressions of this one are very familiar. It uses a tried and trusted case design that Addiesdive have rolled out across a fair few of their smaller chronographs. But that's no bad thing. It's compact, nicely finished, and has just enough detailing to stop it feeling boring. But the star of the show is clearly that dial. It's an absolute knockout. I received this blue and silver version, which honestly, I thought looked a bit drab in the press shots, but in the metal, it's rich, the accents pop, and it suits this style down to a T. Other colours are available, including an olive green and a couple of lighter options and one with genuinely cool turquoise accents. Some might think it pushes it into slightly feminine territory, but personally, I'm comfortable enough with my testosterone levels to think that I could probably get away with it. But drop a comment below and let me know which colourway is your favourite. Specs are, as expected, the same as the AD2516. You get a 38mm brushed and polished stainless steel case, 46mm lug-to-lug and 12.8mm thick, including the high dome bubble style mineral crystal with anti-reflective coating, a screw-down case back, push-pull crown and 100 metres of water resistance. Inside it's packing the Seiko VK64 mecha-quartz movement, giving it that cool bi-compact retro 2-sub-dial layout. It comes on a natural rubber tropic strap, colour matched to whatever dial option you go for, and coming in at a smidge under 75 quid, or about $100 in freedom money, I think that makes a genuine case as a near-perfect, lightweight everyday watch. Especially in the summer, assuming, like me, you're manly enough to wear turquoise. Jokes, obviously. If you've already seen the AD2516, you'll feel right at home here. The case is exactly the same. And honestly, that's fine, because it works then, and it still works now. It's compact, nicely finished, and wears pretty true to size. The polished top surfaces give it that classic chronograph look, the brushing along the side is straight and clean, and everything feels well put together for the money. The sign crown is back too, yes, still with that bloody dive logo, but it's slim, easy to use and does the job without fuss. Same goes for the pushers, still complete with that slightly over-designed jet engine style finish that really catches the light and makes it sparkle like a gemstone. Pushing them gives that crisp, clicky, mechanical feeling VK64 action you expect. Look, there's nothing revolutionary here, just a solid, familiar case doing exactly what it needs to. From the side though, it's the crystal that really stands out. The mineral glass is properly domed and into bubble territory, which really emphasises the watch's character. It definitely contributes to the total size on paper, but on the wrist it just looks deliberate and very on brand for a retro chronograph like this. It'll come as no surprise that the dial is the standout feature of this piece, and honestly, it might just be one of the best looking dials I've seen in a long time. The step tachymeter sits below the main dial, adding some proper depth. At angles, the centre section almost looks like it's floating, and those orange and yellow racing markers give it a nice bit of punch without overdoing it. The blue centre dial is clean and nicely restrained with minimal text, but without trying to sound like a broken record, I'm still not totally sold on the Addiesdive script logo. But at this point, I've seen it so often, I sort of take it for granted. The applied markers are well set, nicely finished and suit the overall look perfectly. The subdials are a sort of rounded square cushion shape and I absolutely love them. They give off a really cool retro racing vibe, and just like the step tachymeter, they've got proper depth to them too. The outer marker rings drop down into the centre, which is subtle, but it adds a lot of interest. The outer sections are finished in flat silver, while the subdials themselves get a concentric ring texture. The colourway continuity is spot on too. The orange and yellow accents on the tachymeter are carried through to the minute subdial at 9, and each subdial hand gets its own colour. Orange for the minute counter, yellow for the 24-hour dial. And then it's all topped off with that bright orange central chronograph seconds hand. All in all, this is just a really well thought out dial. Strong 60s motorsport vibe, bold colours that somehow don't clash, and enough depth and detail to keep it interesting well beyond the end of the first day of wearing. Honestly, I've clocked myself staring at this thing and smiling a few times. Lume, on the other hand, well, it is there. It glows a nice crisp BGW9 blue on the hands and applied markers. In fact, it's better than expected on such a dainty handset, but don't expect Blackpool illumination levels of glow at 3 AM. On the wrist, it wears, by sheer coincidence, very much like the AD2516. If anything, it's ever so slightly more comfortable, thanks to that Tropic strap replacing the beefier one from the previous watch. The strap itself is well made, nicely flexible, and has no trouble conforming to the wrist. It's still natural rubber rather than FKM, but it easily feels a step above the usual silicone you'd expect at this price. The watch is light, sits well on my 6¼ inch wrist, yet still has enough presence to feel properly substantial. The finishing is solid, the water resistance is more than fair for this style, and that dial has completely won me over. The press shots really don't do it justice. If you get a chance to see this one in the metal, I don't think you'd be disappointed. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.